This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 9, verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars in the people in the world. Second Ezra, chapter 15, and through verse 16 in the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, I'm going to go to 15. Second Ezra 15 and 15. For the sword and their destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. Verse 16, 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 16 through the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. There shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Makakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of great wisdom, preaching word, truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching word, truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching word, truthfully and sincerely. And I say shalom to your Akim out there. As you've seen, I brought out the two scriptures of 2nd Ezra 9 and 3, and 2nd Ezra 15, verse 15 through verse 16. The increase of uproars in the people in the world, as we starting to see increase now more than ever. And this is a news article from voanews.com, and this was recently, say about 2 days ago. And this is a news article in the news on July the 23rd, 2022 at 6:41 p.m. And this is published by Edward Yeharine, if I pronounced that right. And the highlight of this news article, and it reads, Military clashes in Libya amending political tensions between the rival governments. And it says, members of the Libyan Armed 444 Brigade backed the Government of National Unit, GNU, and a Prime Minister, Abdulmahi al-Dabraba, if I pronounce his name right, set up a checkpoint as smoke rise in the background in Anzara area, Talupa, Libya, on July 22nd, 2022. It says fights between the rival militaries and the Libyan capital, Tripoli, which tails off a late Friday, have a left and confused political situation as two rivals governments continue to lock horns and a political leader flex their muscles to control more territory to determine who is more powerful. And it says the local media claims that the military loyal to an outgoing Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Dibba gained more in the fighting over the rival military, which supports the ruling presidential council in Tripoli. Is more not immediately clear what ignites the fighting that claims more than a dozen civilian casualties. The three-man presidential council ordered in a Libyan army unit, the 444 Brigade, to deploy the parts of the Tripoli after the fighting subsided. It remains to be seen which political forces now has the upper hand. It says burn out the vehicles could spot on several streets and some residents dwelling also apparent damage. Fighting erupt just as the Libya begins to set up oil productions following a stoppage earlier this year. The new head of the Libyan National Oil Company indicted indicted at a press conference Friday. The county were now producing 650,000 barrels of oil per day. The VOA News could not independently confirm the figure. The United Nations supports the mission as the Libya USNIL called for an investigation of what prompted the clashes in Tripoli, Libya, insists there be justice for the victims and the families. The UN Special Envoy Stephanie Williams was shown meeting with President Council leader Khalid al-Masari. Yep, so yeah, that's you starting to see the increase of the upwards and the people in the world. And this additional man, as you've seen as I read the news article, between two political rivals of the government. So you're gonna see similarity situations around the world, just like this. Similar stories gonna increase last days as well too. And there was another news article that I seen as well too. And this is in Uganda, on the African continent. And it says Uganda police fire tear gas to quell protests over fuel prices. And this is by Reuters, published 10 hours ago. It says police arrested more than 50 people in Uganda on Monday as security forces used tear gas and other tactical to quell a large protest against sky-high fuel prices, a police spokesperson said. The unrest has hit different parts of East African country. Again, soaring prices of consumer goods that has squeezed the businesses and upended livelihoods. The cost of fuel in Uganda has almost doubled since the start of the year. Early on Monday, protests began to erecting barrels and barrels of tires on the highway connecting Jinja and industrial town in eastern Uganda. And another nearby town, said police spokesperson of James Muba, if I pronounced the last name right. It says a TV footage of the riot shows crowds of tear gas from exploding containers fired by police while security personnel, including police and soldiers, chasing, stones, throwing youths, and beating them with truck. I can't pronounce that. So this is the actual footage, if it shows it. No, that's the wrong video. Yeah, that's the wrong video. Slovakia. Yeah, that's in Sri Lanka. But yeah, that's the wrong video. It says it wasn't a protest the youths were instead robbing others, damaging properties, blocking roads, smashing vehicles, and burning Chinese made told Reuters. 41 protesters have been detained and will be charged with enticing violence, robbery, malicious damage, and taking part in unlawful assembly, being in public nuisance. He said the Uganda opposition, many citizens have been calling for tax cuts and offset inflations. The president, Yoweri Museveni, has refused, blaming high prices for items such as cooking oil, fuel, wheat, and on the war in Ukraine, and the code word 19 Demic. And popular opposing figure Kazib Beskali has been jailed twice in recent months as he sought to gavage mass protests against what he said is a government failure to tame inflation. So yeah, that's where you've been seeing these increases of these upwars in the people in the world. Even if it's like sedition among men, or it be like, they're going against their figures, their leaders that's in power, and the citizens, they oppose these unrighteous decree laws. They blame them for the inflation. You know, they're trying to ask their political leader, that's the political leader, that's the leader in the country, to like make affordable gas prices more convenient for the citizens, more affordable foods, more affordable goods, and everything. But due to the increase of inflations, the high prices of gas prices, and the skyrocket of fuel prices, and the citizens, they do these protests, and they go against the ones that's in power. They're the ones that's in power that create these laws or written laws, and the citizens, they oppose it, so they do protests. And that's what you've been seeing, protests around the world with the continuing skyrocket of fuel prices, gas prices, the hyperinflation, the cost of living, everything is constantly, consistently going up. It kind of hard to bear for the citizens to be able to balance things out, because they have to have food on their table, have clothes on their back, make sure they have a roof over their head, and be able to have food and affordable gas and all that. And then while they maintaining, trying to save money, and they paying their bills while everything goes up. That's why you're seeing the upwards and the people in the world, they're going against their political leaders and their political figures. That's why you're starting to see this increase now more than ever, And these citizens, they take these protesters up to another level, even if it means their life is on the line. That's how serious these protesters can get around the world, not just only here in North America, but around the world as well too. Sometimes they go against their political leaders, one that's in charge, and the citizens, they oppose certain things that the political leaders and figures that's in charge, and they highly oppose what their officials and leaders are doing. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, of Great Millstone, preaching the word, truth, and sincerity. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word, truth, and sincerity. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word, truth, and sincerity. And until next time, before I close out the sit down lesson on this July the 25th, 2022, at 11:37 p.m. Central Standard Time on this Monday night. So expect to see more increase of the citizens of these countries globally around the world, and have these uprises of these protesters that you see around the world as they protest against their ones that are in power, and they oppose the certain things that they do and the citizen doesn't like. They are leaders that's in power, they highly oppose them, they doing protests of the world and many other things. And sedition among men is furthermore increasing now more than ever in the last days. So with that, I would say shalom and a ball.